Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Philadelphia Roundtable. This is a monthly series that we do. Usually it's at Connie's Rick Rack the last Wednesday of the month during Ron Baum's happy hour, networking happy hour. Ron, my co-host, is here on the end.
Hey, Don.
So the whole idea is each month we get a topic or a special guest and we talk about industry stuff to help you guys, the artists, and hopefully this helps you out. Oh, geez, I'm stuttering. It helps you out with your careers going forward. So this week at Liberty Fest, we have Mr. Lou Wyatt from Reverb Nation.
Thanks for having me.
Other than one thing we were going to talk to Lou about, other than Reverb Nation being a hub for all you artists for your press kits, bios, and stuff like that, Reverb Nation does a lot more stuff. And I know Lou goes out to how many conferences?
Probably like 15 conferences a year. Probably even more if you add in all the local stuff right in New York.
What I want to talk about what you do is like when you go out there, what do you see for a band that's starting up? How do you see a lot of bands at these conferences? Like, do you see like the same bands a lot of times? And if so, how do they usually wind up there to get to the point?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it starts with somebody. When we're involved, when Reverb Nation's involved, we actually run these opportunities so bands submit their press kits, and someone on the other end, whether it's you as a festival or Dewey Beach or Liberty, whoever the festival is, we've done Firefly, Warped Tour, a lot of big ones, a lot of small ones, a lot of middle ones, and someone on the other end, the talent buyer or the booker, they book the bands based on what they think they like. I mean, no one wants to put garbage on their stage. So I think when bands are selected to play at these festivals, they should, applaud themselves, give themselves a round of applause because somebody from the industry actually thought they were really good, and that's great. Hopefully you get fun with people. And you do see a lot of the same bands. I mean, I see Sweet Lita plays a lot of them, a lot of festivals, a lot of conferences, because they're really, really, really good. And everyone seems to get that press kit and be like, oh, I got to sign this band. I got to book them or whatever. You may not even know a lot of the festivals that they're booked with, but you all have good ears, so you pick the same band. I probably went way all over the place on that question, but sorry. It's been a long drive. I just got here.
How many bands here have a Reverb Nation profile? How many artists here have Reverb Nation profile? Anybody who doesn't? Anybody who doesn't? Bad boy. I mean, the first thing I would say I've been using Reverb Nation since its inception, and I don't know of many other tools that are available to artists that give you the comprehensive range of services and level of access that Reverb Nation gives to artists. How effective? Can you give us some examples of how, through submissions and through bands really leveraging their presence on Reverb Nation, how that's been, able to get them to the next level? Can you give us some examples of that?
I mean, there's a couple of bands, like Crowbot comes to mind from Pennsylvania. We saw, they submitted to one of the festivals a couple of years ago. I personally saw them, and I got right on the phone and talked to the president of a booking agency that I'm really close friends with, that I've worked with for years. And I was like, you got to see this band. And sure enough, they went to see him 2 weeks later, signed him, then they got signed to Wind Up and things like that. But that's like one example. But there's, every band pretty much starts on Reverb Nation. So we noticed a couple of years ago that bands like Imagine Dragons, they used to submit to all these opportunities. They actually won one. Band that big, they got one. I hate saying one because it sounds like a contest, but they were selected by one opportunity, and they got passed over by a lot of people. So, Imagine Dragons was doing the same thing. Lady Antebellum, when we first started, one of our first artists, they're huge now. They had no fans, no industry ever heard of them, and they're huge. Reverb Nation is not going to make anyone a superstar. It could just help manage your fan base, grow it a little bit, things like that, and help get you opportunities to get you to the next level. But then you need a team to really help you out, like a manager or an agent or a label or whatever it is. You can't become, there's no superstars who've done it on their own. If anyone, BS. anyone tells you otherwise.
I know you guys also sponsor a lot of stuff like Warped Tours, Ernie Ball, and stuff like that. So when artists see that come through, they really should submit to that stuff.
Yeah.
Correct, because it's not, because a lot of times people think it's already predetermined, but a lot of times it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fixed. There's other companies out there who has a bad reputation, and I think unfairly a lot of times they have a bad reputation. But our submissions are free unless it's a conference. We allow conferences to charge a fee only if they give everyone a free badge. But all the submissions are free, so you might as well do it. I will say this, they're not guaranteed that they're going to get reviewed. The only ones that are guaranteed are the labels and some of the big festivals, because we actually work out a deal with them where they have to, everything has to be reviewed. But some of the magazines you'll see, things like that, not every single one. They'll get 3,000 submissions and they don't all get reviewed. They may find, if they're giving us 4 features in the month, they may find their first 4 features that they really like in the first 300 submissions. So, and they usually sort it. To give you guys a hint, they get a dashboard with all these press kits, and they usually start sorting it by the number of fans you have. So make sure you sync your Facebook and your YouTube and Instagram and all that other stuff. If you have 15 fans, nobody's probably going to get to your press kit. And to be honest, you're probably not ready to be playing festivals if you only have 15 fans.
That doesn't mean your music's not good.
No, it doesn't mean you're not good.
You could be incredible. It just means that you haven't put the time in to get your music out there to build up that fan base, and it's just a metric that, you know, people say, "Oh, I don't give a shit about Facebook likes." It's like, well, nobody really does at the end of the day, but it does tell you something about how active, you know, a band is and how serious they take their craft. Lou, are you finding any specific genres of music that are doing better than others with Reverb Nation? Like, is it indie rock that's really kicking ass with it? Is it singer-songwriter? Is it hip-hop? You know?
It's indie rock.
Indie?
I call it hipster rock. I don't know, the whole new sound that's going on now. Hopefully it's just a
No
trend.
guitar solos, unfortunately, right?
It's getting really big. I mean, it's big out as far as fans goes. It's really big, but it's also something that the big festivals and the labels, that's all they want. I could present to them the next amazing band in the world, like amazing live, amazing songs, but it could be in like active rock genre or singer-songwriter or something. They'll be like, well, no, we're looking at Mumford & Sons type sound or electro pop type sound. Like, I mean, we have a lot of them. It's great. It's not what I love. But that's doing really well because that's really what the fans are after. I mean, you go to any big festival now, it's pretty much that type of music. I call it hipster stuff.
Because we're old.
So does a lot of people.
Also, too, I think a lot of people don't realize, and we've been on a lot of panels over the years, that sometimes just showing up, even if you don't get selected to some of these conferences, that the networking part of this business nowadays, because the labels are kind of shot, you know, everything's buy-on tours for younger bands, so going out and touring stuff, it's that just going to any festival they can, or a conference, or even any kind of music kind of thing. I mean, we see it, I know you see it. I mean, I see it on our end, but I mean, you're going all over the country, you see a lot of people attending these that are not selected, or you think that's a lot of bands are just missing out?
I think that bands are totally missing out. The most important part of a conference to me is the networking and the learning and just saying hello to, just hanging out with Jim, drinking a few beers with him will probably get you on the show next year. Something like that. You gotta be good, but
I booked 3 shows while I've been here, and I've only been here for about an hour.
And then you give Lou a lot of drinks, you become a feature on Reverb the next time.
A lot of it. But no, I mean, I don't think they take advantage of it. I mean, you go to some festivals, there's like literally 1,000 musicians there. Say there's, well, my math is all screwed up. Say there's 100 bands playing and there's like 500 musicians. And then you go to the panels and there's like 40, 50 people there. I mean, I don't know why you're at the pool or sleeping, whatever else. Your gig that night, probably ain't gonna do shit. Probably isn't gonna do anything for you. But meeting some of the label A&R guys or radio stations or whoever else is there, and even the other bands, just hooking up with other bands, you wind up going on the road. Or that's why I think Dewey is really good. There's not huge industry people there. There isn't.
No,
everybody makes out there.
But the good thing about from Dewey, which is that it's set up an environment that networking is key, and so many tours year after year break out there. Like bands just meet each other, and all of a sudden you got 3 bands are friends, and they wind up touring up and down the East Coast, and they're all successful doing it because they all had the same common agenda. And that's where bands just miss out so much on, and they're usually the ones that get you complain. Sorry.
Oh, I know. It is. Those are also the ones that when they're playing at a local venue with you guys, they're also the ones who come, right before they go on, and then leave right after they leave, right after they're done playing, so they don't even support each other. Those are usually the same bands too. They know everything and they're the best. They're not.
I mean, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I mean, we talk about these things all the time. Having a network of musicians. I mean, a lot of the things that I talk about to people is, who goes out to see live music for the sake of seeing live music? These guys are all musicians, right? Exactly, that's my point. You're only going to get your sister and her husband to come out so many times. You're only going to get your neighbor to come out so many times. The core fan base for most bands is other musicians. So going out and building those relationships with other bands, gig swapping with touring bands in other areas, it's critical. And again, I mean, Reverb Nation definitely does a great job. I mean, I can tell you as the guy who manages the calendar for Connie's Your Crack, I really think having that Reverb Nation profile up and spiffy and having everything up to date really goes a long way. Because I use it as a resource to not only to check out bands who are approaching me for shows, but then going and looking for bands if I need to. I'm looking for an indie band for a type of bill.
Yeah, I know it works real good because of the data that you guys always provide. Like it shows where Facebook fans, Twitter, everything else, and also gives you a demographic where your fans are at, which helps out a lot. I mean, I don't know if they can fudge that too much, but I mean, it helps. I mean, but I also can find, I just did a campaign with Reverb Nation, for example, to find new artists, and I found a lot of cool stuff that people are going to see in the fall here that I would have never probably knew about. They're not from around here, but I rather bring in, I'm always about talent, and so is Ron. Like, we want to put the best music forward for everybody. I always tell people when I bring these bands in, from Vermont or from New York or whatever, you need to network with these guys, because if they're really that good, the odds are they're probably killing their hometown or doing something good. So the networking is so key. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. You can have Clyde Davis you got Clyde Davis here. I think I'd rather network with 4 bands and go on tour. I'll probably make more money than signing a deal with Clyde Davis. I mean, I'm just, not to be, but I'm just being realistic on the way the odds of people succeeding, and there's nobody buys CDs, nobody buys stuff anymore. So your money is coming from the touring and your merch. I mean, bands live off their merch. And that's,
I mean, unless you're really have music that's being played on the radio now, listen to the radio. I know it sucks, but listen to it. And if your music is not like that, you're not going to get signed to a major label, because they're only signing bands that are really radio ready. Because that's where you sell a lot. That's really where you take it to the next level. But if your music is not like that, you don't have a shot in hell at getting signed to a major label. I mean, it's so rare.
Which doesn't mean that you can't be successful as a musician.
Exactly.
It just means that you're taking a different route, and you really need to set that objective when you start out. One of the hardest things, and that's really, when I work with bands, the first thing I do is I get everyone up. Is everybody on the same page? Because if you're not on the same page, if somebody wants to be, a superstar, Foo Fighters level superstar, and somebody's not really ready for that, and they, there's going to be conflict, and you're not going to be successful. Everybody has to get on the same page, and some bands, to Lou's point, you're going to take that track where you're going to get onto the radio and maybe try to sign with a major label. But if you're a little more quirky, if you're a little bit more eclectic, you might have to take a different route, and you just have to understand what that is going, as you're navigating your way through, your musical journey.
Also, something I'm going to probably piss off a lot of artists by saying this, but you're going to lose money, like a lot of money, the first probably couple of years, because you're a business. Every business does. You can't be out there. You can't be out there after playing for a year thinking that you're owed a salary or you should be making a living off of it right away. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You got to put your time in. You got to gain a lot of fans, like real fans who buy stuff. We have bands that complain, that they're not getting paid money. I mean, I don't book clubs, but you do. Probably, why pay me $500 or whatever, but you can only bring in 20 people.
Right, on principle.
Why? You're worth probably $20. It's like, I mean, I don't know the math there on that one either, but yes, and some people will take a chance, but some won't.
Definitely. I want to go back to, I know you guys launched a couple other things recently on Reverb Nation,
Yeah.
right?
So, we have our tools, we have our opportunities, and now it's time to go after the fans. We've got 4 million bands, and we launched something called Echo Media, which is going to hopefully get fans more involved. We have an A&R team of roughly 20-something people now, and they're curating all the music, and they're putting what they believe is the best forward. It's not just them, it's actually people who pick our opportunities also. So if you're picked for Liberty, you go into the pool, it says, an industry person liked you, you're ready for Echo Media or something like that. But it's an app, it's basically an app. So instead of a Spotify app where there's millions of songs, our app is only going to have, a couple of hundred songs of what we believe is the best. It doesn't mean it's the best. You might not think they're the best. And it is a lot of the hipster stuff because we have a lot of the A&R guys, that's what they like and that's what people are listening to. So we're going to cater to that right now. So if you're a jazz band or something like that, or a punk rock band, you're probably not going to get involved with Echo Media right now, or it'll be a lot harder to, I should say. But yeah, so we're going after the audience now. We've managed like 80 million, I don't know the exact number, but I think it's close to 80 million fans on behalf of the bands. We get 20 million unique visitors a month, I believe, which is pretty huge. And we don't have 20 million artists, so they're all fans on the site. Yeah, so we're doing a lot of publishing alliance now. We're working with 20-something record labels as an A&R source to them, like a real A&R source.
Is there a Reverb Nation festival?
No. We don't know how to put together festivals, so I just.
That's why you kind of.
Mill Street Marketing's real good at that. We've
I
already-
can, I can do it. I'll do Reverb Nation. Come on, you get your buddy Kevin, me, we'll get it done.
A lot of people have asked us that, but
But it'd be kind of cool.
we try to stick to what we do best.
You do a national
We have to
tour.
hire you guys, and we can make a big festival. All right, I'm in. Let's dance.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm always willing to...
Do it East Coast and the West
you know,
Coast.
I'm always willing to partner in on stuff.
All right, I think we're about done here. I'd like to thank you, Lou.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem.